Welcome to eSchedule. We're happy you're taking time out of your busy schedule to learn about our online software. I think you'll be very impressed with what you're about to see. eSchedule is extremely powerful but so easy to use. And the best part? It's highly configurable. Our team will work closely with you to customize a solution that meets your company's needs. What follows is a video tour recorded by one of our eSchedule experts. We're going to walk you through the software, giving you a sneak peek of what we can do for you. So, sit back and enjoy. The eSchedule software overview starts now.
Hi everyone, thanks for taking a bit of time to learn about the eSchedule software. We do appreciate you learning about us. My name is Chris Murtaugh and I'm one of the eSchedule experts. I'll be guiding you through the different various modules that we offer within the eSchedule suite. One thing I did want to mention, if you are looking for more detailed information on any of the features I'm about to show you, the best way to learn about that would be through our website and or our YouTube channel. So if you go to goeschedule.com and click the YouTube icon on the top bar there, you'll get shot right over to our YouTube channel and you can learn a little bit more about some of the features that I'm going to show you here today. So why choose eSchedule? Everything's online. It's cloud-based, as people call it these days. You can get to it from anywhere with an internet connection. Very powerful behind the scenes in terms of administrative controls, but also very easy to use for your members or your employees. So looking at the schedule, looking at time cards, looking at open shifts, all very simple and easy for them to use. That's a core functionality of eSchedule. In terms of keeping it simple for people to figure things out. It is also very configurable on the back end or behind the scenes. I'll show you some examples of that. We're always adding new features, almost on a monthly basis. So it's not a stagnant product. It's constantly being upgraded with additional enhancements, and that's at no charge to you. We're going to handle the initial setup for you. So we'll work with you to get all of your employee information uploaded. We'll set up your schedule for you, those types of things. We're huge on customer service. We'll talk more about that later. Very easy to use, as I mentioned. Timekeeping logic, that's a big reason why a lot of companies come to us. So as you know, EMS and fire have a lot of different ways of keeping track of time, 24-hour shifts and shifts that are lapping over different days. So the ability for us to configure and customize the time clock module is a huge differentiator for us. And staff, including myself, I'm actually a paramedic here in New York State, come from the industry, so that's something that we're proud of as well. We do have a mobile view of the software, so we have instructions for both Android and iOS in terms of how to set this up to be able to get to the eSchedule site from a mobile phone. And these are just some screenshots of what that looks like. So our base module, this is required for all eSchedule accounts, and it comes with 4 different things. We'll talk about these: the employee database, messaging, events calendar, and the document library. Before we get to those, the dashboard, I'll show you that. You can log into our demo site as well. So if you haven't received that email, let me know. We can have you log in and play around with one of our demo sites. Now, all the things you'd expect on the dashboard here, you've got your navigation at the top, you've got some messages there in the middle. We'll talk about that next. And then down at the bottom, a summary of the employee schedule shows up there. Certifications that are loaded into eSchedule in the bottom left. We've got some upcoming events within the department, so staff meeting, training classes, that type of stuff show in the middle box there. Any swaps and covers that the employee might have pending or approved will show up there. On the upper right, shift bids. So a shift bid is just an open shift that an employee wants to work. And you can see in this example here, some of them have been approved, some have been canceled, and some have been rejected by the scheduler for this company here. And then paid time off, or PTO, the status of that, these requests for this employee show up on the bottom right there. Messaging, you do have the ability to do a number of different things. You can send group, email, and text messages out at the same time, which is nice. This can be used for anything. Announcements, maybe someone called in sick and you need to send out an announcement to get that shift filled for tonight. You could do that. We do have the ability to send messages right within eSchedule as well, and they'll show back up on that dashboard, which we just talked about. You can also have employees check a box acknowledging that they read the message, and then you do have the ability to see the date and time that the employee read the message if you do that right through the eSchedule software. Events calendar, a great place for training classes, staff meetings, those types of things. Your employees can see what's coming up. They can sign up to attend the events. And if you end up using our timekeeping module, you can actually pay the employees for that time or that class right through our events calendar, and that time will get put right onto their time card, which is really nice and convenient. You do get a full employee or volunteer database. This is a full set of information here that you can use to keep track of your employees. We do also have custom fields as well. So if there's a data point, whether it's a date or something that you guys track just for your company, you can add that, and then that'll show up under everybody's profile for you to administer. This is where certifications are tracked, time off, contact information, password, of course, all that's handled right through the profile. And then the document library comes standard as well. A great place to create folders. You can upload files to those folders, give different levels of access to different groups of people, and then anybody with an internet connection can get to these files right from the eSchedule site. So before we get into scheduling, some of the reports we offer, all of our reports are listed here, or not all, but I should say the majority of them. All of them come standard depending on the modules that you activate with us. Most of them you can filter down, export to Excel, print them out if you needed to for whatever reason. So this is our, our new monthly view, which was recently activated within eSchedule. So when you're looking at the schedule, you can choose to look at it however you want. There's an hourly view, daily view, weekly, monthly, and even some different choices within those. And each employee can choose the view that they like when they log in. And each view is customizable in terms of seeing different things. So again, this is our monthly view. This is our new weekly view, which is coming soon. So that's what that'll look like. Just a new look and feel from what we have today. So we're very excited about that. So the way the schedule works within eSchedule is it's based on a template. And the template is obviously has a number of shifts. So you'll see here where it says Crew 6, 18 to 23. That's the shift name. You can have as many shifts as you want. You can call those shifts whatever you want. So maybe that says day shift, or it says an actual vehicle number, or maybe it says group 1 shifts. And then within that, you've got your different positions. So here you see ALS, BLS, EMT, intern. You can, again, call those whatever you want and have as many of those as you want within each individual shift. And then the shift time as well. So you could have a 24-hour shift. It could be a 5-hour shift like you see here. Totally up to you how you want your template to be set up. We do have some position indicators. So in terms of seeing who's a trainer or an FTO, depending on the terminology that you use, we can turn that on for you as well. That way you have trainees that log in. They can see who they're signing up with and making sure that they're signing up with a trainer. So this is a nice screenshot of a weekly view of the schedule. So 7 days at a glance. You can see the different shifts that are here. You'll notice some of the shifts are grayed out or closed on the weekends. So this particular company doesn't have quite as much staffing on the weekends, so they can go in there and just close those shifts out. Open shifts are indicated in that goldish yellow color there. So if I'm an employee and I want to if I want to bid on one of those shifts, I can very easily do that. I can see what's open, I can click on it, hit bid, and that's going to go off to the scheduler for approval. Now keep in mind, it is very flexible with the different logic that we have within scheduling. If you want to allow, let's say, volunteers to be able to sign up and sign off shifts automatically, we can do that. Or we can also have everything go through a scheduler or a manager, as I had mentioned prior. All right, so very, very flexible and very configurable in terms of how we can set up your scheduling logic. So schedule management, putting somebody on a shift is super easy. So this would be what a scheduler would use. They would click on the shift time. They're going to choose the name of the employee that's going to work that shift. You can do some custom times as well. So maybe someone's just working a portion of a shift, and you can very easily split that shift up into 2 different time slots if you needed to do that for whatever reason. In terms of adding recurrences or rotation patterns or fixed shifts, we can certainly do that as well. We can handle any rotation pattern that you might have. So you'll see in the upper right here, we've got the 24-48 pattern, 48-96, and so on. That's just an example of some of the different things that we can do. So whatever rotation pattern you have, we'll again pre-program that in to make it nice and easy for you to put people on rotations if that's what you guys do. Signing people off a shift, very easy. So if someone calls in sick or you need to move somebody to a different shift, you can do that super easily. Or using the blue arrow here down at the bottom, we can sign somebody off all occurrences. So that might be someone that's on a rotation and maybe they're switching rotations or they are leaving the company or whatnot. You can take them off all future occurrences using that blue arrow very easily. We do have the ability to collect availability. So if you have people that are submitting availability and you're building a schedule from that, you can use this screen here. Maybe you have volunteers or part-time staff, and then you can, again, build schedules from the availability. A couple different ways you could do that. There's reports available to you. You can also open up availability right within the schedule view itself and sort of put people in shifts from that view. We do also have an auto scheduler, which I'll mention, which basically takes availability and attempts to propose a shift or a schedule for you. So it's going to look at the requirements that you set. It's going to look at your employees' availability and try to put people in shifts based on that. So that is something you could use as well. This is what it looks like for a scheduler to review bids and swaps. So you can come in here, take a look at who's bid on your open shifts. You can see how many hours they have, each employee, what their start date is or seniority date with the company. And then, of course, it's date and time stamped as well for both bids and swaps. And you can go in there and approve those. And email, text message alerts, all those types of things get sent back to the employee as well, letting them know the change in status. You can run reports on open shifts. You can put people on these shifts right from this report. And on the right-hand side here, we do also have an email alert that goes out every week, and that lets all your employees know what's open on the schedule. It's also going to give them a copy of their personal schedule, as well as any certifications that are going to expire in the near future. Moving into our time clock module, very flexible and very configurable. Our time clock is web-based. I'll show you more about that in just a moment. And you do have the ability to set the grace period. So how soon can my people punch in before their scheduled shift time? And then what's the grace period on the back end? So, maybe someone's off going and they get out 30 minutes late. Maybe you allow that, maybe you don't. Anything that falls outside those rules will create what's called an exception. And that's really the big checks and balances within our time clock module. And I'll show you that here in just a second. So it is a web-based time clock that you can control based on location. So as long as, let's say, I'm within your station or I'm on your wireless network, for example, your employees can clock in and then, of course, clock out at the end of the shift, assuming that they're in a location that they're allowed to do that. We do have a few different ways of tracking time. In the upper right here is your standard sort of clock in at the start of shift. When I'm done, I leave, and it will look at the schedule, and it's going to say, okay, Chris, I see you're scheduled, you're on time, everything's good. Or I see you're scheduled and you're punching in late. I need you to tell me why, and that's going to force the employee to put some comments in there, again, creating an exception. In the bottom right, we do have the ability to track time on sort of what I call a timesheet method. So this allows your employee to go in and say, okay, today or yesterday even, I was here from this time to this time, and then that would go off to a time clock manager for review and approval. And then the bottom left there, process shifts. We do have the ability to do just that. So process shifts is used for companies whose employees don't necessarily punch in and out, or maybe they're salaried employees. And that basically takes scheduled time on the schedule and pushes those shifts right to the time cards. So it saves people from having to punch in and out. And then you can manipulate from there with any changes. Maybe someone got held over late, that type of thing. All right, so if someone needs to make some changes to someone's time card, you can do that as an administrator, of course, or maybe you need to put some additional time on someone's time card. As a time clock manager, you have complete control over that. You can set up different activities, whether it's meeting, training, those types of things, and of course all the different pay types that you might imagine, overtime, comp time, personal time. Those are all things that can be set up within eSchedule nice and easily. In terms of reviewing exceptions, this is what that looks like from a management perspective. You can come in here, take a look at your exceptions, go down the left-hand side, check those little boxes, and approve the exceptions that look good to you. So most of these don't require any effort. Okay, someone got out a little bit late or someone punched in a little early for whatever reason. And you can go ahead and approve those nice and easily. If you do need to make some changes, maybe someone forgot to punch out or you need to fix a punch, you can do that just by clicking those links there under the exception column, and that'll take you back to make those changes very easily. The employee time card, that's accessible by the employee, of course, so they can see their time card throughout the week, and the time's going to automatically start to populate into the appropriate columns here. So in this example, you'll see the first column in the middle there is regular time, regular overtime, holiday overtime. Each of these time cards are going to be set up for each of our customers. So you tell us what all the earnings codes are in your payroll system, we'll set that up and we'll make the logic happen behind the scenes so that time starts to go into these different columns as best as it can based on what's happening. So you tell us if 40 hours plus is overtime, then the time's going to automatically start to move into that overtime column. Bottom left, you can track PTO balances with different banks. So you'll see this one customer here, they track vacation and sick separately. You can have as many different PTO banks as you want, and we can do accruals for those as well. So if you tell us what the rules are behind that, we can set those accruals up for you to happen automatically. And then if you choose to have the employee sign their time card, you can do that as well as a supervisor after the pay period ends, just to kind of give another checks and balances there. Our multi-punch is great if you have a training class or a staff meeting and you want to pay multiple people for the same event. You can do that. And in this example here, all the people that are checked at the bottom are going to get 2 hours of pay on their time card just by filling out this form. So that's a great tool that a lot of customers like to use. And then the last step in the process for time clock would be the payroll integration. So once your pay period's ended and all the time cards and exceptions are approved, you can go ahead and hit the export payroll button, and that's going to export out a file. Now, our files that we export will be customized for each customer, whether you're using QuickBooks or Paychex or ADP, whatever payroll software you might use. I would say in the majority of cases, we can very easily make that file format match what you might need. If it's something super specific or different, we may have to do a little bit of configuration work, but for the most part, we can export that out nice and easily, and then you can just immediately import that into your payroll software, making basically reducing the human error and having no more manual entry into the payroll software. And then finally, within time clock, the PTO request, very easy for the employees to go in, submit time off, and then down at the bottom, you can see what that looks like in terms of a scheduler or a time card manager reviewing those requests and approving those. And these are just some examples of the different time clock configurations we've done. If you have anything that's sort of weird or different, just let us know. We can certainly let you know if it's something that we've done before, and if not, I'm sure it's something that we can work with you on to make sure it works nice and easily for your department. Getting into training now, certification tracking. Very easy to set up different certification types, which you see here. So if when you set up your eSchedule account, you can go in there, set up all the different certification types. You can choose which positions any given certification is required for, and then set the reminder period as well. So that's how many days out does your employee start to get notified that a certification is going to expire. And those reminders happen on the login screen, on the dashboard, as well as via email. And then you can come in here and add your certifications for each employee, so the expiration date for them, put in some notes if you want, and as you can see here, you can actually scan in and upload actual copies of the cards if you wanted to do that and go paperless. That's certainly an available feature for you as well. And then from a reporting perspective, this is really the most powerful piece. You can come in here and run reports, see what's going to expire. You can take a look at an individual person, or maybe I just want to see driver's licenses, all the reports that you might need to keep track of the certifications within your department. So that's certifications. We do also offer a continuing medical education module. So this is great for companies that keep track of recertification on behalf of their employees. So whether it's an internal certification, regional or national, or state level even, we can set these up. You tell us what the requirements are. So each employee needs these many hours of these different topics. And then you can come in here, enter classes, and really give credit for these classes for each individual employee. And it's nice for them because they can see where they're at, what they have left to do throughout their recertification period. Our forms manager, so we're getting into our agency management section now. So our forms manager are really just online forms. So think of any paper form that you might have. An ambulance check sheet, a fire truck check sheet. It could even be a uniform request or a call log that you might have. We build each form custom for each of our customers. So you tell us which fields you want, how many forms you need, and we'll build those out for you. Employees can get to those from anywhere. They can fill them out. Works real well on an iPad or a tablet, and then all the entries get stored as well as an email alert if you wanted to do that for each time the form gets filled out. Our assigned equipment module is a great way to keep track of department-owned or company-owned items that your employees are in possession of. So, for example, where I work, my company issues me a coat. I have an ID card. I have maybe a pager, that type of stuff. This allows you to keep track of who has what and the inventory of each of those things. So that's an available option for you to consider adding on to eSchedule as well. And then our vehicle maintenance module. Great way to enter all the vehicles within the fleet. You can enter budgets and expenses. So anytime a vehicle goes out for maintenance, you can enter that invoice and keep track of the cost of those. And then also the preventative maintenance alerts, which you see here. So I want to be notified every 5,000 miles when an oil change is due. And the nice part is the mileage there actually connects to our forms manager. So assuming that you're doing a truck check at the start of each shift and the employee enters the mileage, that's going to help feed your vehicle maintenance section here to keep everything nice and accurate. There's so much more within eSchedule. We could spend all day going through every little feature. I hope you found this nice overview helpful. As I mentioned, if you do have additional questions, certainly let us know or go out to our YouTube channel for more videos in terms of detailed questions and things that you might have. Thanks for your time, and again, if you have any questions about eSchedule, certainly let us know. Thanks a lot and have a great day.